Hello all, it is that panda guy, and I'm here again with another video, and today I'm going to be going over the Pompeii event that we did today, and it was extremely close, and unfortunately we did lose by like 1,000 or 2,000 points. And to start off this video, I do want to say that one of my like really big friends and just like kind of mentor in this game, he taught me a lot of what I know, Shelby, is quitting, and or not quitting, but he's got to go because it's military service, and this was his last Pompeii. So I kind of wanted to just put that out there. So anybody who might want to say like it was nice having you, or you just enjoyed his presence in chat, that would be awesome. Shelby would probably enjoy that. And I mean, I just wanted to say that because Shelby's been such a big help to me giving you guys information as well. It's just pretty sad to see him go, even if it's temporary. But I did just want to say that. So first off, we're going to be talking about what happened this Pompeii and kind of my strategy going in. So basically, I first want to start off by saying that we probably shouldn't have faced PLW because we actually had a lot less players, and I think it was 14 versus 20, so it was really off balance. And I think one of our R4s actually registered he registered some of our like whale players into the Pompeii, and it wasn't smart because they weren't going to show up. Like they didn't have an intention, and they weren't planning to show up, and they just couldn't show up, right? So it kind of actually gave us a higher rating than we needed because we knew some of these people wouldn't show up. And I also wasn't able to register some people because I didn't. Sometimes the messages don't come through for me, and I think the devs need to fix that because it's like a bug I've been having for like months now. But I just wanted to kind of say that. But I basically had a strategy, and you guys saw how I took this and I swarmed this thing down, and I actually had planned to reinforce and kind of hold structures with my main account, and it kind of failed because they got swarmed down on the structures that they were holding in the top corner of the map that was on the other side. And I already had my reinforcements, my garrisons in there, and they just got swarmed out, and it was pretty bad because they didn't get reinforcements, and it just got melted, and I didn't plan to go back up there to reinforce. So basically I actually had a different plan, but I ended up going with the flow because what I was going to do was I was going to reinforce all those. I was planning to hold those as garrison captain because my technology is generally better than most of these players, and that means that they have a harder time taking me down as long as I do get reinforcements. And since that had failed, I actually had a plan to keep one march so I could keep rallying stuff and hopefully disturb point gain. But when it comes to PLW, these guys are actually really good, and I think that like they do have good coordination, at least especially compared to other alliances. And that was one of the biggest issues I had to overcome. So here, you guys are going to see what I do is I'm going to be focusing this outpost that is really close to me in like right here. I'm going to be focusing this the whole time with my main account. And basically what I do is I send like almost, I think all 6 of my alts to just, go havoc mode on these like outposts all around like their area. And basically what I'm doing is I'm forcing them to focus me, and I don't even care about holding them, right? Like I let them have them, I leave only one march in there, and I bounce the next outpost. And what this was to do was to disturb their point gain, and honestly this was working so well. And I think that PLW did probably win because Tree is awesome, right? He's like super strong, he has really good research, and I think he's gonna hit tier 6 probably around the corner, I'm assuming. But yeah, he's pretty close, and he's strong. And basically Shelby was getting cucked a lot of the time, so like honestly he probably disturbed a good amount of our points by cucking our Shelby, because Shelby does run around the map being a little turd, and I mean I love it. But I had my little alts farm or my farms, whatever you guys want to call them, running around. And I mean, you guys see me idle a lot. I'm gonna try not to idle at least a lot in this version and my shortcut version. But basically what I'll do is I'll have 2 or 3 accounts, and I'll have them focusing different outposts, operation bases. And I think one of PLW's biggest issues here were they weren't able to get a proper garrison captain in these things. And if they wanted to hold it, they should have had a good garrison captain. And right off the bat, you actually see in that one of those main outposts that I'm able to take it super easily. And it made no sense. And I think the reason is I've always focused on helipad, and I've always tried targeting helipads. And I think they expected me to do that, and they didn't really care about holding operation bases really smart. But they didn't expect me to go like this because I literally played with zero regard to my troops. And even so I would basically attack these things, and I would send my accounts off to another operation base, and I don't care if they're getting swarmed, I don't care if their marchers are getting swarmed down, they just go, and it buys as much time as possible. And the thing is, you got to understand, I have so many troops that I don't need to heal, especially with these alts, and I can just run around like it's my playground, right? And I mean, I'm just able to not even just dominate, right? Like I don't know if you guys noticed. I think I what I do here is okay. I kind of wanted to mention that I basically keep taking the garrison captain that I have in there, hopping in and out, hopping in and out. So when they focus it, it would kind of force them to have a really weak march in there, and I could just swarm it down real quick, and it would just waste even more time. That was just my plan right there. I was being a freaking doofus. Honestly, I do not know if I would do anything different because I feel like one of the biggest issues here is it would be really smart for me to hold these structures. Sorry, I mean noise in the corner, but it would be really smart for me to hold these structures with my all. But the issue is it's not easy for me to one go through like 6 accounts or 7 accounts, right? Reinforcing as well as focusing these other structures because the thing is I can't just let them hold them and also wreak havoc on my own members because if you guys keep a constant on that map, my members are fighting as hard as they can to kind of make sure they can't like advance out of that like little area. And I mean that's like our biggest issue. We're not able to keep these like structures on our side of the map. And I was just hoping like I feel like all I could do here was trust that my members would do their best and be able to hold it off. And I mean, honestly, they did a pretty good job. They fought as hard as they could, and that's all we can really ask for. It was a really good fight, and I enjoyed fighting this one because it was just so enjoyable for me to bounce around. Because when I'm being a prick and people know I'm being a prick, I know I'm doing something right, right? Like that's how it is. Like if they're not hating you, you're not doing something right. Honestly, there's so much I probably would have done different. Like I also made a lot of mistakes. I could have taken a lot more structures than I had of, and I could have wreaked more havoc. But when you really look at it in hindsight, I mean, it's pretty hard not to always, know there were mistakes that you made and things you could have improved on, as well as the fact that although I don't know, it's like I couldn't really say that I would have made like a huge difference either because like I say this a lot but it's true when I'm controlling so many accounts it's hard to expect myself to be able to join rallies then swarm this thing down because I'm also having to scroll like on each of my like accounts. I'm having to zoom around the map one by one, right? And it's not easy to think I could just join this structure and then bounce back over there and then back and forth, back and forth. It's just like a little too much for my brain. I mean, like, although I do try to function as fast as possible, I cannot do but so much myself. I mean, I do think I did a pretty good job. You guys see me just doing all I can. I hold this operations base with my life. Like I do not give up that operations base because I know like they focus that a little bit and I do get really good trades on it. And honestly, if I could have, I might have used Lewis and Maya like reverse because what I did was I kept sending out Maya and honestly I feel like Maya melts really fast, but the issue is I didn't want to be fighting on the field with Lewis as my main hero because I do have a garrison talent tree set up on him. But honestly, looking back in hindsight, he probably still would have been the better choice anyways. I'm not really sure because I have like his garrison talent tree isn't like the worst and it's not like I couldn't fight on the field with it, but I'm not really sure it's obviously not better than Maya's, right? But it's just like hard to determine because I feel like Maya melts really fast compared to Lewis, where although he's not tanky, it's not easy to just like swarm him down. But honestly could have held another structure if I just used that setup instead. But what do you do? Also, I'd made a mistake for a while where I did have Tom in the helipad, and it took me about at least half the match, I think, before I took him out of it and I started using him. And the thing is, nobody was fighting for the helipad because I guess like they just had no reason to and they didn't want to attack our helipad. And I don't know, I should have just took him out earlier. I also made a mistake of not teleporting my accounts in, like all my accounts towards the helipad. I maybe teleported like 3 in the beginning and no more. And that was such a huge issue because I'm doing like 7-minute marches to get back instead of like 3-minute marches, right? Like I'm literally over doubling my time where I could have been so much more efficient about this. And honestly, we probably would have won in that case. I mean, you guys see the point difference right here. It is a 5K point difference. We should have won this. And I think we just slipped up a little bit too much. We lost a little too many structures, and we started crumbling. And also, they started kind of reading what I was doing and understanding. He's just bouncing back and forth like a freaking ping pong ball. And they started having a better hold on these structures and kind of just my marches started thinning out because although I can run around with, let's say, 4 marches on each account for a certain amount of time, and they still have troops to keep sending, I have to let my troops get on the field. And I mean, like my marches were just dying. I wasn't able to keep this up forever. And then they started cutting the point gap between us. And I mean, I really did my best. If I had teleported my accounts, then I think this might have gone differently, especially since I would have had better field presence and stayed on a lot longer with just more troops, right? And it was just so much I could have done better. And it's like I did do a good job. I want to give myself a little pat on the back because I do think I did pretty incredible here. I mean, our alliance did hold on pretty well, especially considering who they're facing. And I mean, I did have like I think two people teleport up with me towards the helipad, maybe three, and I don't know how I think about that because I prefer that I personally go up towards the left side if I'm gonna do that, especially when you consider that was 14 versus 20 players, right? Like we were fighting 20 players right here with 14 people, and if I'm already controlling 7 accounts in their like back zone, we need the other 7 people probably fighting up in like that top corner, right? I think it gets up to 17 people, but I think a few people also dipped because either they ran out of troops, their wife was yelling at them. I think someone said their wife was threatening to take away his phone. So yeah, I mean, what do you do? But it was still pretty fun. They had all 20 of their slots capped out. Unfortunate we weren't able to just cap out our slots as well. Just but I mean, like I said, I still think I did pretty good. I don't want to go down on myself too much, but I mean, there's always improvements I can make, and it's not easy. It's not easy because I was being stupid, and it took me until like half the match, maybe more, to notice that I was so far away. And if I had my Tom in here much more, like if I had put my Tom into this structure a lot more than I already had, I probably could have held on a lot longer. Because you guys see how long these guys are swarming? Like that's sped up right there. These guys swarm it for ages before they're able to take it down. I don't know. They were just beast moding it. But honestly, I didn't really care if my marches died. I didn't care if they got swarmed. I didn't care if they even won, because my real objective was just to kind of make them focus me and waste time. And I think I focused on this operation base a bit too much because one, I want to mention that Tree's holding it. If I'm not, my eyes aren't deceiving me. Actually, wait, no, that's after he took it later. But I think like the thing is, Tree has really good tech, so it's like so hard for me to swarm it down. And PLW was having such an issue with getting troops in and garrisoning properly. And I mean, like I said earlier, that was like their biggest problem. They weren't able to just keep proper garrisons in, and that's why I just keep overthrowing them. I mean, I didn't really keep proper garrisons in because I didn't really want to hold for points here. I just wanted to serve as many points as possible. And you guys see in the top area that we got overcome here, and we finally got overrun on points. And I was thinking this was possible to take back. I mean, because you see like the structure hold is kind of even between us. And I mean, that is true. We started coming back and it would have been possible, but I was too far away and my marches just kept coming from like 7 minutes away. And I only had like 5 minutes left. So I started trying to teleport some accounts in, and then it wouldn't have reached that far. It was just a lot. I mean, you guys probably want to watch the PC version because I think that's more eventful, especially in the 1 hour version that I am planning to end up uploading, where I voice over me just playing on Pompeii for 1 hour on my phone. Because although like, I do have a good phone footage, and I don't voice over on my PC versions, I will say that like I had less action on my phone because I was like idle a lot because I was actually bouncing a lot on my PC, and I had to focus that like super hard to make sure my marches were able to get back on the field. And I mean, yeah, I'm trying to keep this entertaining, guys, by constantly talking and chatting you guys up. But I mean, you guys see Tree holding this, and that's, I think, one of the biggest issues is the fact that Tree was here. He had like, honestly, if Tree did not join PLW, I do think that we probably would have won this, and it was a good chance that we would have won this overall Pompeii. He probably disturbed a good amount of our points, being that like even having him as garrison captain just like will like stop me from taking something for an extra 30 seconds to a minute. And I mean, every minute counts, and if they're able to get more points from that structure from him holding it for so long, that really just does us more damage. And it was more than we could handle, and we ended up getting smacked in the smithereens. Also had one guy say in chat, and I think he was like a tier 3 player or something, that he healed like 800k troops, and I was like, no, there's no way you had 800k healed. That was probably like 80% of the heals our whole alliance did. That was disgusting to hear. I hate hearing when people heal, and I think this is actually about to come to an end. This is like the last little bit of actual fighting here, and you guys are gonna be able to see, I guess, reports at the very end if you guys are interested in that kind of stuff. And I'm probably gonna cut off my volume or cut off my voiceover so you guys can just watch the you can just watch the reports, right? And I don't want to really talk too much because like I just I just have to blab on, right, to entertain you guys, and it's not always easy for me to be a big mouth. It's gonna be even harder for that 1 hour version. Oh my gosh, I lay in bed for an hour just talking to my screen. That or I do it for 30 minutes and give up. But yeah, honestly, at this point, I'd given up because I knew we lost, and I was like, whatever. It was a good fight. I fought my hardest, and I was satisfied with the results I brought in. So I just decided to smack around on this little outpost or this operation base for the last minute, and just rub my face in the dirt, crying. It was kind of sad to see us lose. I'm not gonna lie. We put in a pretty good amount of effort, or at least I did. I know I put in a pretty good amount of effort just fighting here. I know my other members also did their job. I mean, they weren't able to take like one of those bases or whatever for like most of the game, but I will say that I'm pretty sure it was held by someone like super strong, or both of them were actually held by pretty strong players because they were just getting held down and they just had people on helipad over there swarm fighting them. And I mean, I could only force them to focus on me so much because I mean, you guys noticed that basically I had my main account as the only one focusing in that top corner, right? And it was only my main account really focusing on the operations base where my other accounts bounced around, and this basically made like 3-4 people focus on holding me down. Like I literally had 3 or 4 people have to focus me to hold me down. And I mean, that's pretty cool when you think about it, that I'm making these guys do that. And it wasn't even like my alts, right? Because I have my alts being chased down, I have them getting their operation bases taken back, and it was basically just a game of what it's called, whack-a-mole, yeah. But I will say that's probably the end I'm gonna be talking here. You guys can look through the reports. It was pretty interesting. I got really good trades on my main account. I don't check my alt accounts until like a few hours later because I get tired after doing these voiceovers and doing the pompeii. It's just a lot for me, but I do hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I mean, you guys can enjoy the last 5 minutes in silence. So you guys have a wonderful day, and peace out.